Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft Brood War cast. Yes, we are back. Patch 1.18 fixed my replay crashing problem. So this is a replay I found on the internet. It claims to be Flash versus sAviOr, so I figured I would cast it. And if you want to see Brood War games cast by me, please send them to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com. I'm having a really hard time finding very, very recent Brood War replays. This one claims it was played in 2016, which is a few months ago, but I figure better this than nothing at all. In the bottom right-hand side of the map, we have the Purple Terran player. It is Flash. And his opponent, in the bottom left side of the map, we have the Green Zerg player. It is sAviOr. So two very popular players from the Brood War days, both Korean. Both have been playing for a very long time. So should be interesting to see how this is played out between both of these players. It's a very large map. I wish I remembered what the map name was. Somebody will chime in the comments and let me know for sure, because that's what I've been getting a lot in my previous Brood War casts. I got a lot of comments from people that said, you don't know what Brood War is, you don't know anything about the game, why are you casting this? And in all honesty, that was true. I watched a lot of Brood War casts back when, in the years preceding StarCraft 2, like I'd say 2008, 2009, 2010, a lot of Brood War stuff I was watching, and it was a good time. But then StarCraft 2 got announced, and the beta came out, and I just started watching those games and kind of abandoned Brood War and haven't been really paying attention for the last 5 or 6 years. So I'd forgotten build orders, much to my everlasting shame. I had forgotten build orders for Brood War. I'd forgotten what buildings you need for what, so I boned up. I went to Liquipedia. I checked that stuff out again to remember exactly how this works, and I should have a better working knowledge of at least what buildings are required to do what and what upgrades, because that was something that was a big complaint from the first time I cast Brood War on my channel. So that should make things a little bit better. I'm still not super up to date on the current meta as far as what is gonna like what compositions are gonna get one's compositions in TVZ or PVT, or you know, the other matchups in StarCraft Brood War. But hopefully we'll get a better idea of that as things go on. All right, so it is a quick expand here out of Flash. It's not incredibly fast. He did get a bunch of workers initially here, throwing down a double barracks opening here, which allows you to make Marines. You needed Academy to make Fire Bats. I remember that one at least. Some Lings here chasing around this SCV. SCV might get pinned and killed. The scouting SCV had a nice little life there, getting some good information back to Flash, but unfortunately did get taken down by slow Lings. Speed is on the way here at the spawning pool, and a bunch of Lings moving out across the map here. I'm liking this out of sAviOr. The Marine count too high, though. There are a lot of Marines here. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think something like 10 Marines against a handful of Lings, maybe 6 at the most. Still going to try to get in, maybe, but there are, oh no, now there are Fire Bats. There are Medics here as well. This is a pretty strong push out of Flash, moving across the map here. Going to try to see what damage he can do against the evil, filthy Zerg player of sAviOr. What is here? There's a sunken colony here, and drones are forced to fight. Lings coming from the backside, just getting absolutely murdered there instead. But despite the fact that they lost some drones, they did manage, as we're going to slow this thing down a little bit here. That was a little bit too fast. Apologize for that. We'll get it back on fastest here. But drones were killed, but sunken colonies did manage to stay alive, which is a big deal because they regenerate health as all buildings and units do in Brood War, just like they do in StarCraft 2. Ling counterattack attempt here out of sAviOr. Going to try to pick off some of these SCVs. They get one, but the bunker is full of Marines, and they can stim in there. So they are able to kill several Zerglings and force them back. So I wish I could get a total worker count, but it's 26 total supply for the Zerg player compared to 44 for our Terran player Flash. So definitely in the lead right now is our friend Flash. He's thrown down a ComSat station, which does require, no, I'm remembering correctly, it does require you to have the Academy to do that, which is over here, Terran Academy, where you research things like STIM and other upgrades. I think Flare, is it Flare the medics have? I believe that's the ability they have that blinds units. Has to be researched as well at the Academy here, but trying to drone back up a little bit. Mutas are on the way, which means we have a lair. Really nothing different there from StarCraft 2 to Brood War. Moving out, a small group of mutas. Actually, it's hard to tell how many that is because they stack really easily. And the best players will stack them incredibly well Wow, I gotta stop doing that. That middle mouse button just takes me places I don't want to go. Missile turrets are up, though, for our Terran player Flash. The mutas don't want to go to that expansion. Perhaps the natural is a little bit less defended. Nope. Missile turrets here and Marines with medics on the ground. Just an incredible counter to mutas. Not quite as good. I'd say not quite as good as they are in StarCraft 2. Marines just chew through mutalisks like they're made of tissue paper in those battles. But on the Brood War side of things, it does take a little bit more to kill them. They're a little tiny bit tankier. But still, you don't want to fly them over a bunch of Marines, especially not if they have stim and medic support. Muta's still trying to fly around, find an avenue to kill some stuff. Going to pick off a single SCV. Again, great stacking allows that to happen. Incredible, incredible micro on display right now. This is hard to do. This is hard to stack up your mutas like this. Marines kind of trying to pin the mutas in a little bit, but they can fly. They can fly here. Ling's going to take this path along the south side, and actually, there we go. There's a ramp down there. Allows them to get on in, and this is something we see a lot in ZVT and Brood War, is the mutas trying to pick off individual Marines that stray a little bit too far from the pack without losing too many mutas themselves. You noticed that, yes, a muta did get killed, which is never a good thing. You want that mutaflock to be as big as you want it to be and not have to replace them because they are expensive. Missile turrets and Marines, these mutas trying to pick off as many SCVs as they can, but there are 4 missile turrets here at the natural base alone, and Flash is just prepared for this. I don't think he's lost more than 3 or 4 SCVs, I'd have to say. More Lings coming across. It's a very Muta-Ling heavy composition here for sAviOr, and Hydralisks are out. Hydras, a wonderful unit in ZVT for sure. No question about it. They just do a great job against Terran, against Protoss. They just stand in and fight. It's like 90 hit point Hydras from StarCraft 2. It's just much better at a fight than they were in the early days of Wings of Liberty, for example. Heart of the Swarm, just not a good time for Hydras in most situations, unless it's against, against air units where they can really shine. But in straight up ground battles, they were not good until they got that upgrade or that update. Mutas, again, you want to pick off Marines, you want to pick off medics if you can. It's a really nice target to go for as well. Lurkers are out. Yes, Lurkers on the way. You do have to upgrade the Lurker ability at the Hydralisk Den after you have a lair, is how that works. I believe in my previous cast, I said something entirely wrong in relation to Lurkers and was summarily smacked down by several people, which again, I appreciate. If you know more about Brood War than I do right now, let me know in the comments. I will fix things. I will do more research. I will figure this out. We'll get better at this together. How does that sound? All right, so a lot of Marines. We got medics here as well, kind of chasing Lurkers away. Where is the army going for sAviOr? He's checking up this top left. Oh, he has an expansion in the top left here, so he's trying to defend it, but oh, here we go. Marines pushing on up here right now. Oh, Lurkers absolutely eating these Marines alive. That is one thing as well. Lurkers just tear bio apart. If they walk in range at all of Lurkers, they're going to die. Whereas Lurkers, again, in StarCraft 2, good against armored units, not as good as it turns out against the Marines, which is really a weird switch, but look at that. So many dead Marines here. All right, whose Flash is coming back on in with the Marines, with the medic, heading on up. The mutas flying down here as well. The mutas want to get some more of this harass action down on our purple Terran player Flash. We got Lurkers burrowed in nice positions. One thing you can do is try to bait the Marines into the Lurkers. You send the mutas in, they chase the mutas down, they walk into the spines, and they all die. I have to assume a player of Flash's caliber is not going to be dumb enough to fall for that, as an SCV here scouting at the front for some reason, just kind of hanging out right about now. But regardless, the mutas flying around being active. That is what the best Zerg players can do, is be active with their mutas. Because there's the scan, and the Marines actually able to focus them down. Nicely done. The scan and the range of the Marines is enough to get rid of them. That is the one thing Lurkers are not great at, is if they're unsupported and the Marines can focus them down from a distance and they're split, as Flash did there, they can get removed from the game extremely quickly. So you have to be careful with that one as a Terran player. Tanks on the way. Tanks you cannot build until your factory has a siege factory. Dang, what is it called? Machine shop. And you research siege at that machine shop. Coming on in, Lurkers again keeping the Terran army at bay, but tanks are here. Oh, Marines are getting a little bit careless. The Lurkers do have good range. The tanks show up with their siege mode. That is time for the Lurkers to get out. A scan combined with the range of the tanks is just anathema to these Lurkers. They don't want to have anything to do with that at all. So it's a Muta-Ling Lurker type situation here. This is generally, where we go. There we go. Science vessel here for Flash. Irradiate is super important. You can irradiate the Lurkers, which does not kill them straight up. It weakens them quite a bit. You can irradiate Mutalisks because they clump up and the radiation hurts all of the surrounding Mutalisks. It's a really good spell that is pretty similar to Parasitic Bomb, I would say, if you're looking for a comparison in StarCraft 2. Tanks sieging up. Again, the siege animation a little bit slow there. Allows the lurkers to unburrow, get the heck out of there. The Science Vessel also is a detector, I forgot to mention. So the detector does allow everybody to see those lurkers from a good distance. They don't want to get picked off, though. Usually to kill these, you want to have Scourge, is what I remember seeing a lot. Hey, look, it's Scourge. Scourge coming in, and no, focus down by the Marines, and Overlord dies as well. Science Vessel's still alive. Doesn't seem to be wanting to throw down Irradiate here. Some Lings running into this Marine push. It's just a slow and steady push here out of Flash. This is how I remember playing Terran in the campaign of Brood War. It's just slow and steady here. Oh, Muta's getting picked off, trying to kill that tank. Did bring it down to 38 hit points, but not enough. Here comes the counterattack out of our Purple Terran Flash, but no, there are several lurkers here on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lurkers in this little fairly narrow choke, but setting up patiently with his tanks, with his Marines. +1/+1 is done on the Marines. The lurkers have +1 armor themselves. Tanks, look at the distance on this. Tanks hitting this sunken colony from almost off the screen. Not that the screen is incredibly big in Brood War, but you know what I mean. So we're still on 3 bases. Little macro hatch coming up here at the 3rd base in the top left for our Zerg player. Scourge do get one of the Science Vessels. That's nice, but a few of them are getting picked off from the ground as well. Defensive Matrix coming up on a Marine, and they're waltzing right on in here. There's a Nidus Canal. I'm not sure what that's been used for. Probably to transport between this base and the base in the top left. There are also Defilers out, trying to throw it down. There we go. Dark Swarm, so the lurkers can burrow in and get some damage done on these medics. Oh, the medics are trapped inside a terrifying hellscape of spines coming from the ground. Well done. Just barely getting those Defilers out in time is sAviOr, and the counterattack time is here. Lings right on top of tanks. There's a Firebat trying to stop this. Does a pretty good job of it, but lurkers in range of tanks. Bad news. Tank does explode, and without that tank support, the Firebats and 2 Marines is not enough to push this anymore. So Flash decides that it's time to go on home. He's establishing a 3rd base to the left of his main, and again, these little guys, Defilers, are hugely important in Brood War. You notice that animation we saw there was, it's not consume, what is it? It's basically consume. They can sacrifice any Zerg unit to get additional energy, which is so important for the casters, and sacrificing a Ling is as much energy as sacrificing, say, an Ultralisk. So that's generally how that works. There's that Dark Swarm ability, which means that any ranged unit from outside that Dark Swarm cannot hit anything inside. See, here we go. The slow push forward. The lurkers cannot be hit by the Marines on the outside here, so they're forced to retreat. This takes a lot of micro. This takes a lot of attention to detail, but I've seen some amazing, amazing things at the end of games with Defilers and Dark Swarm just absolutely wrecking people. Even that's pretty much all that there is. A couple Lings, maybe a couple Hydras. Coming in, there's the Irradiate. Irradiate comes up on the Defiler. Can't be saved with Dark Swarms. Spellcasters still work, and it's enough to kill the Defiler. I wasn't entirely sure if that was the case, but yes, one Irradiate is enough to kill a Defiler. Oh, and actually Irradiate on a Lurker, killing that as well. So pushing up towards the north is Flash with Marines, with Medics. Really not worrying about Firebats anymore. They're just not as useful if it's going to be a Lurker composition from the Zerg player. 2 Science Vessels. You don't want to have too many of those. I mean, they're expensive. They're pretty gas heavy. I'm not entirely sure what the numbers are, but coming on in, there's, again, Lurker Dark Swarm Defense. It's a Lurker Dark Swarm Defense, trying to irradiate the Defilers. Getting one. Did he get the other one? I don't know. Get out of there, Defiler. You're probably hurting your buddies by sitting in there. But coming on down south, the Marine player, Flash, trying to decide, does he want to attack the south? He's checking for bases here on the left side. Doesn't see anything there. And it is actually a 4th base is up and running here in the top left corner. So sAviOr has kind of made it his own at this point. Marines, Medics, and we've got our Science Vessels coming down from the top side down to the south. Overlords are scouting this. They're all detectors, which is something that is still the case, even though it seems a little bit overpowered, as the Zerg has detectors with every Overlord that they have. But anyway, that is how things work. So here we go. Heading down are these Marines. There are a bunch of lurkers here. Can they save the double-pronged attack from the left and the right side? There's the Irradiate on the Defiler, but already threw down the Dark Swarm on the lurkers. They're pretty much impossible to take out quickly if you're the Terran player. So being very patient is Flash, waiting for Dark Swarm to get off there, recognizing he has actually killed the Defiler that was here. Whether or not there's another one, he doesn't know, but he's going to wait for Dark Swarm to just disappear at this point. Am I calling that correctly? Is it Dark Swarm? I just realized this is probably driving people nuts. All right, so let's quickly do a quick search on the Googles. Science vessels wandering in to see what's in here, and there we go. The spell wears off. Let's go dark swarm. Is he going in? Yeah, here we go. Oh, another dark swarm coming up there, though. It is dark swarm. Defensive spell, buzzing orange cloud. Good. Wow, I was feeling really dumb for a second there, but it turns out I'm not a complete moron after all, which is excellent. All right, so again, Flash, big, huge army. He's sitting at 138 out of 168 total supply. Our friend sAviOr's at 83 out of 113, and not looking good. Some Scourge fly around. They do hit one of the science vessels. Nice pickoff there by sAviOr. One science vessel remaining in this army for Flash at the front. He'll probably make another one. Again, not having a production tab just makes casting so much more difficult. I have a lot of respect for the old Brood War casters from back in the day. Some Lings trying to come up here and deal with this fourth base that Flash has on the right side, but no, there are enough Marines defending it. That's not going to happen. Ling run-bys are not the answer here. So the siege is underway for Flash, but is that a fifth base? Yes, fifth base coming in for sAviOr at the very top side here. We do have some Lings checking the top right corner. Are there any command centers here? No. No, there are not. Overlords. Oh, Overlords out in the middle of the map getting picked off by Marines. That hurts. That actually hurts quite a bit. And again, just the siege continues here. How are the upgrades doing? Defy. Is it Defile? No, it's not. What is that spell called? Defilers cast it, and what they do is they bring everything that it hits down to 1 HP, which means they can be repaired, but they're very, very, vulnerable to attack while they're sitting at that 1 HP level. Let's see. Defiler has the abilities of Dark Swarm. Come on, Internet. Help me out here. Give me a list of stuff. Plague! It is Plague. All right, so Plague bringing everything down to 1 hit point, which is really good against Protoss because they don't regenerate that health. And so they just never regain it. They're just permanently at half health pretty much the rest of the game, the units that get hit by this thing. So very strong against Protoss. Not as good against Terran because they can heal and or be repaired from it, although it doesn't seem to be a high priority for Flash at this point, not bringing SCVs up. So a slow push out here by sAviOr. He's got the Lurkers. He's got the Dark Swarm. And he's trying desperately to get rid of this situation. Oh, actually using some, there we go. Coming on in with the Marines, picking off these Lurkers. They're just not good without Dark Swarm. They die so quickly. Counterattack here. But again, a Dark Swarm popping up, which means Lings can actually hit stuff while they're inside the circle, inside this cloud, and you cannot hit them. Hydra wandering outside the circle a little bit. A big Plague on these Marines. The good thing about Plague, is I did that center mouse button thing again, is that it can make medics waste all their energy trying to heal these dudes. As the Plague is bringing it down, they're trying to heal at the same time. The medics can quickly get rid of their resources, of their energy, trying to deal with a Plagued unit. Marines are here inside the main base of sAviOr, though. This is looking really bad for the Zerg player. Hydra's coming out, getting absolutely murdered. There's an Ultralisk Cavern here. Are there any Ultras? I don't see if there are any Ultras in production, though, which is a big-time problem. It is 97 supply for the Zerg player and 141 for our Terran player. Flash, does he have units attacking? He's got science vessels checking out this natural base. Some Lings desperately trying to come in here and stop this, but they're just severely outnumbered. They have +3 armor and +1 attack, but it's not enough. +1 attack done and +1 armor. The Hive is gone. The Spire under direct assault here as well. Lings actually on top of some of these medics. Oh, and the Lurkers, whoa, tearing those medics apart. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the humanity. Bad news. Queen's Nest under direct assault as well. I haven't seen any Queens. They're probably flying around somewhere, though. Wish there was a way to find them in the replay interface, but man, the StarCraft 2 replay interface is just better. There's another Plague on the Marines and on the Science Vessel, again, bringing them down to that all-too-important 1 HP. Which, actually, he's at 3. Is he going to go down to 1? Is it 3? That guy's 1. Is this a bug or something? Lurker trying to burrow it. No, trying to burrow itself by these wounded Marines. Can't quite pull it off here. Hydras, a ton of Hydras popping out now. Just several Hydralisks, several Lurkers. Flash's army is a little bit stuck here in the bottom left. He's attacking here at this top left expansion of sAviOr. He took out 1 hatchery already. He's going after another one, but again, the Lurkers and the Hydras from inside the cloud are invincible, and the Marines are trying to fight them there regardless, but a big force of Firebats. We've got Firebats, Marines, medics heading on up. Marines here at the 4th base expansion of sAviOr, taking care of all of these drones. Marines a little bit stuck over here for Flash. They could fly away, but his attention again does seem to be elsewhere. Hydras unfortunately can't stand against that many Marines. Even if they are super wounded, it just doesn't really matter. So did manage to hold on to this 3rd base up north, a very sneaky base that sAviOr took early on, but there's just a huge mass of purple coming. Marines, Firebats, Sunken Colony, no match for this. Got some idle drones here as well. Lurker eggs trying to morph in. They do morph directly from Hydralisks, just like in the StarCraft 2. Irradiate on the group of Hydras, isolating the one, or the Lurkers rather. Isolating the one, which is great. Again, trying to take down eggs is very difficult, but it is so very worth it. Firebats in here with our +3 attack. Wow, 16 plus 6 damage. Lurker does manage to pop out, but also into a place of direct fire. And is there going to be a scan? Is there going to be... Oh, it doesn't... Oh, there we go. Science Vessel coming from the top side does allow them to take out that Lurker. Lurker's popping, but just too much DPS right on top of them. They burrow to do as much damage as possible, but they are getting murdered there. At the same time, trying to replant as a Sunken Colony in this top left side, but Science Vessel's leading the way for the Terran army. And sAviOr, what tech does he even have left? He still has a Hydralisk Den. Can still make Hydras. Oh, Ultra's popping out. Where the... Oh, he replanted his Ultralisk Cavern here at his natural base, so he's got Ultras out. Ultras can be very, very good. Very good against the bio, just as they can in StarCraft 2. Some things have translated, as you may well tell by my casting here. 2nd spawning pool up here in the top left. Can it be saved? There's a lot of Lurkers and Hydras trying to back these dudes into a corner and save the spawning pool. It's down to 300 hit points, and Lurkers do burrow in, get a spine off. Oh, that is it. We're looking at a medic and 2 Marines, and that is all she wrote for Flash's army in the top left side. More play going down on more Science Vessels. sAviOr, I just don't know how he comes back here. He does have a Lurker attack here on the right side at the 4th base of Flash. He's pretty much shut that thing down, which, you know what? That was the final mining base available to Flash. So, oh man, sAviOr might actually win this game, you guys. I thought for sure he was toast, but it's 73 supply for the Zerg player, 88 for the Terran. Maybe overextended a little bit, maybe didn't have enough defense back home while he was attacking out and away. Where are my Ultralisks? Where are they? They're not dead already, are they? I would be so sad if they were already dead. No. We saw... Oh, here they are. Here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ultralisks with 5 armor. They have that upgrade at the Ultralisk Cavern. I'm not sure if it's called the same thing as it is in StarCraft. I can't remember. I am old, you guys. I've got 3 kids. Science Vessel knocked down by Scourge, which is exactly what they are used for. They're basically flying banelings, is what Scourge are. And there's a lot of green on the middle of the map right now. There's some purple in the bottom right. There's a ton of Science Vessel. And again, Irradiate is just not good against Ultras. So here we go. Irradiating them regardless. It will... Whoa! Does it do more damage than I thought? They're hurting each other is the problem. Lurkers burrowing, Ultralisks taking a ton more damage than I remembered them taking with this spell. Is he actually gonna die? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. It was enough to kill an Ultra. And again, some of that might be stacking, right? Where his buddy was irradiated as well and he was next to him for a few seconds, but I do not remember single irradiates being able to kill Ultralisks. That is sick. That is just disgusting, is what it is. So Flash still has a big ol' army here. He's still got his Marines. He still has his Firebats +3 attack done. As previously mentioned on those Marines, Lurker setting up shop at a place Flash is trying to expand, or at least scout, science facility there as well. And again, there's the Irradiate on a Hydralisk, killing it. Irradiate's so good against the Zerg, but don't walk into some Hydralisks. You're going to lose some of your science vessels if you do that, Flash. Be very, very careful with that one there. Marines, medics, heading on from the top right to the bottom left. What do we have in store today for a Terran player? He has a bunch of Hydras defending, but that's about it. Science vessels, are they even bothering with Irradiate? I don't know. Sunken Colony, pretty good. Pretty good against the Marines. Lurkers coming from the back side, getting some nice spines off here. Do get destroyed, and that's it. That is a good game out of Flash. Flash has left the game, and sAviOr. Wow, sAviOr is victorious. That was it. That was it for Flash. He just didn't have anything left. If we look around the map here, he didn't have any mining bases. He didn't have any unit. Actually, this is not showing us the Terran unit. Oh, what is this blue stuff? Why is there blue stuff on the minimap, but there's nothing here? I don't know. It seems like all he had left were these handful of science vessels and a couple medics. And that was it. 6 kills on that lurker, 4 kills on that lurker. Again, the Ultras, I am sorely disappointed in. I thought they would be better in the situation, but it really came down to the fact that sAviOr was allowed to keep a mining base, where Flash lost his 1 mining base and wasn't able to get another one up. So incredible, incredible ZVT. And again, please send me Brood War replays you can find on the internet between great players, or you know what? Even if you're just playing, send it over. We'll take a look. To falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of Brood War. Oh, all right. So that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft Brood War update. Update, replay, we'll call it a replay cast. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.